Good evening and welcome to Rory Talks Football, your daily Arsenal news, updates and my opinion. If you're new here, please do subscribe to the channel. We hit 1,000 subscribers and now we're just trying to kick on. Also, smash a like on the video as well. Smash a like for the fact that Eddie Nketiah is back, baby. Lots to talk about today. I'm doing all right. Good to see you, George. I'm doing all right. I'm recovering from what was an incredibly angry morning after I didn't get a ticket for the Wolves game. It wasn't even that I didn't get a ticket for the Wolves game. It was the nature of not getting a ticket. It was the fact that I did everything I possibly could in the right way and still didn't get one that annoyed me. But look, kicking off. So we had a training session today, a training session that was open to the media. So we saw that Eddie Nketiah was back. Saliba wasn't there. Zinchenko and Ben White also weren't there, but that is not to worry about. We'll also talk about the ticket drama this morning. We'll talk about the fact that Arsenal versus Chelsea has been rescheduled. And of course, we will have Guess the Gooner and Guess the Non-Gooner for the people that don't support Arsenal. The dog's trying to get out. I'm going to have to let the dog out. I'm sorry. All right. Away you go. Away you go. She was not willing to participate in the stream today. Fair play to her. She's fuming as well about the ticket situation, clearly. But look, so the open training session today, Nketiah was back. Now, it was only a light recovery session, so that doesn't mean that Eddie Nketiah is fully back and ready to play. But it's a good sign that he was in it. Saliba was not in it, so that is clearly a bad sign. Apparently, there is still hope that he'll feature before the end of the season. I'm beginning to lose hope. We shall see. It'll be interesting. Look, people are saying, they were saying on Sky today that they expect that he might be back for the Man City game. I don't know. I'm not sure if I buy it. White and Zinchenko were not in the training session, but apparently they were just having a separate gym session. So that is nothing to worry about. If we lost White or Zinchenko, nightmare. Do I stream every game? No. Well, I'm normally if it's a home game, I'm at the game. If it's an away game, I usually can't get a ticket, so I'll either be live on here, on YouTube, or AFTV, pitch side. I'll be somewhere. So look, Eddie being back is good. And do you know what? Someone said, and I kind of agree with them, on Sunday, we could have done with an Nketiah style player coming on, because one thing that we have actually utilised Nketiah for in games where we're trying to see it out is having just that tenacious pace left up top so that you can clear the ball down the flank and Nketiah will actually chase it down. And we didn't necessarily have that with Trossard. So it's good to have Nketiah back as an option. It's frustrating not to see Saliba. Like I said, the issue that we're running into now is people saying, "Oh, we're just making sure that he's going to be fine for Man City." The problem is, if we don't see him back in training soon, then he's going to have maybe one full week worth of training before Man City. But he'll have gone like nearly 8 weeks without training, and I just don't know if you can. Is a 70% trained or a 70% fit, untrained Saliba a better option than Rob Holding? Maybe it is, but maybe it's not. And it certainly isn't prime Saliba that we've seen for the rest of the season. So I did see a stat today, though, that with Saliba, we conceded 0.93 goals a game. And without Saliba, we've been conceding 1.33 goals a game. So it's nearly 50% higher or more goals conceded per game without Saliba than with Saliba. So it is definitely hampering us. There is no doubt about it. And I watched someone actually made a very good video about the difference that having Holding against Liverpool made, because I didn't think Holding played badly, and he wasn't directly responsible for any major mistakes. Obviously, the penalty maybe, but I didn't think it was a penalty. But actually, this video was good, and I'll share it if I can find it again. But it explained the difference where, quite often Holding will drop deep instead of being aggressive, whereas Saliba will often stop an attack on the halfway line because he's aggressive with it, because he knows that even if they turn him, he's got the recovery pace. Because Holding can't do that, he has to drop back, and quite a few times that was happening. There were other things as well, mistiming headers and stuff. Small things, definitely, but things that can build up and maybe do have an impact on the control of the game. And it was the control of the game that we lost after the 35th minute. So it was an interesting video, and we just need Saliba back, but I'm not convinced it's going to happen, which is really frustrating. Holding looked a bit unconfident on the ball, says George. I don't. He sometimes. I know what you're saying. He did look a bit. Does look like he's not confident, but also he quite often tries to play passes that he just doesn't have in his locker. Like he tries to clip a ball over the top, and sometimes it'll work, but more often than not, he'll overhit it or underhit it, and it's just. I love Holding, but it just is a drop off from Saliba, and it's frustrating. Holding's a table football centre back. Yeah, yeah. Look, Holding will do a great job. I don't think Holding will be at the club for much longer. I think he might leave in the. I think he might leave in the summer, but he'll do a good job at a Premier League team in the bottom half of the table. Holding will do a good job, but it's frustrating. It is frustrating. People said that Saliba would be back until Liverpool game, but now he's out for the season. He's not definitely out for the season. I'm saying personally, we keep hearing that he's back soon. He's close to being able to train. How long can that go on for before we just say, well, he's not coming back? And the problem is it's a back injury, and back injuries are known for just being brutal, both in terms of recovery, both in terms of knowing how long that recovery is going to take. Like back injuries are shit. Like they're horrible to have, and it's just frustrating. It's come at such a bad time. But like I said, the G says, "What do you think of the new green kit?" Do you know what? The darker green, I don't mind it, but the thing I don't like about it is the color scheme is really close to that Spurs kit from a few years ago. I remember there was that Spurs kit that was a really similar color scheme. So I, I find that I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a massive fan. In a way, I like it, but in a way, it reminds me of a Spurs kit, which I don't like. I've seen There's a proper leak of the home kit now, which I do actually think looks quite nice. So I'm happy about that at least. But are you just trying to get tickets off the Arsenal Ticket Exchange or other websites? Just off the Ticket Exchange. I refuse to pay ticket touts, ticket resellers. All of them are absolute scum, and I refuse to give money to any of them. I'm not going to do it. And I mean, I haven't got over £1,000 to spend on a ticket for the Wolves game anyway. So, thoughts on Riddle Baku links from Plettigol? Yeah, so Plettigol have linked. I don't know if it's Riddle or Rydal. I don't know how you pronounce his first name, but Baku from Wolfsburg. They've they've linked him to us, and apparently we are very much interested. He's a right back. Look, we're definitely going to sign a right back. The target in January was Ivan Freshneda. Apparently, he's not that interested in a move away from Real Valladolid at the moment. We would also be battling still with Borussia Dortmund for it. So. And Baku has said that apparently he wants to move to the Premier League. So it's definitely something that we could. It's definitely something that we could do. PTSD from that name, yeah. PTSD. Baku just holds nothing but tears. But I'll be honest, I've not seen much of Baku play. I won't pretend that that I can give you a lot of insight into how good he is as a player or even what type of player he is. But we're definitely going to bring in a right back, so it'll be interesting. I mean, this is what I was going to say. Luckily, by the sounds of it, White and Zinchenko were just in a different gym session today, and that was why they weren't in all of the pictures from the training session. But Zinchenko wouldn't be as horrific, at least because of Tierney, but losing Ben White at this point would be an absolute nightmare. Signed Tapsoba from Leverkusen. Yeah, I've heard Tapsoba's name quite a few times over the last 2 or 3 transfer windows, I feel like. Again, he's one of those players that I've not seen a great deal of outside of European games. So the thing is, we need a right centre back, right? We need cover for Saliba. I think Kivior will actually go on to be a really good player for us. I know the first thing he did when he came on against Liverpool was absolute head loss when he clattered, I think it was Firmino, on the halfway line. But I saw Kivior's recovery pace at one point when we had a corner and Liverpool went on the break. And the speed at which Kivior got back was unbelievable. I don't know if you've seen that clip, but it was unbelievable. Who do you think we should rest for the West Ham game? I don't think we rest anyone. That we can't afford to rest players at this point. I don't want to risk resting someone against any team. Every team that we play against is fighting for something big. Going away to West Ham's not going to be an easy game, and the supposed benefit of us being out of every competition is that we're only playing once a week. If we're only playing once a week, every usual starting 11 player should be fit and ready to go every week. So there's no excuse to be. Let me just get rid of that. There's no excuse for us to be resting players. I think we tried to, AFC Fan 22 says, I think we tried to go for glory with the passes when we should have controlled the tempo and circulate and make the crowd quiet. I do agree at times. I thought we could have done better with that. I thought we could have slowed the game down a bit. But again, this was where I thought we didn't know whether to stick or twist. It felt like certain players were trying to play that killer pass, were trying to get us moving quickly. Other players weren't trying to do that. And it was like, either go for the kill or don't. But we got caught in two minds. George said, why was our Chelsea game rearranged? Yeah, so if you weren't aware, Arsenal versus Chelsea, which was due to be on April the 29th, which was a Saturday at 5:40 or a 5:30 kickoff, so the normal Saturday evening kickoff, has been rearranged now for the Tuesday night at 8 p.m. The reason is that it's King Charles' coronation. The joke part of it, the reason it's ridiculous is that when the fixture was arranged, we already knew that weekend was King Charles' coronation. They had a meeting about it because it's all to do with safety, right? Because it's a London derby, Chelsea versus Arsenal. How many police will they need for the game, and how many police will be preoccupied with the coronation stuff? That's part of the reason. They knew the coronation when they organised this game weeks ago for that TV slot on the Saturday evening. They knew when the coronation was going to be. So what has changed? What has changed? Now, I'm actually happy it's been rearranged on two counts. One, we play City on the Wednesday before that. So as it was, we were going to play City on the Wednesday night and then Chelsea on the Saturday. Not a lot of recovery time from a tough away game at the Etihad. We now have until the following Tuesday. So it's better for the players' recovery. I also don't have a ticket yet, so I'm going to be relying on the ticket exchange. And I would imagine there will be lots of travelling fans, holiday fans, tourist fans, whatever you call them, that had plans to go to the Chelsea game on the Saturday night. They'd have had accommodation booked, they'd have had their travel plans, that may not now be able to go because it's a Tuesday night. So look, I'm going to be on the ticket exchange, and hopefully that will boost my chances of getting a ticket. But from not a personal selfish perspective, from an objective standpoint, to rearrange that game 3 weeks out when people have got all of those plans in place is a shambles. Like, it's an absolute shambles. And there will be people, and it's not just tourists and holiday fans that people have a problem with. There will be people that just don't live in London. There will be people that grew up in London supporting Arsenal and that have moved out of London because it's horrifically, disgustingly priced to live in London, that will have moved out. And again, they'll have had travel plans to come back to Arsenal to watch the game that will now have to be rearranged. People work. So it's, even in terms of like booking time off, because there'll be people that can't get to the game in time on a Tuesday night after finishing work. So look, it's a shambles. It's a shambles, and the Premier League should not be making mistakes like that. But it is what it is. It is what it is. And on the topic of tickets as well, Arsenal against Wolves, the ticket exchange, the website this morning, absolute joke, absolute joke. I reckon you actually had less than a minute to get onto the site, and you didn't know when that minute was going to be. I had 8 different devices that I used, and the closest one I had was at 8:26. So 8:15, I had a device got in, and that got kicked out because it was too early. Because that's a thing for a queue. Imagine that you turn up, you get put in a queue, and then you get kicked out before the tickets go on sale for being too early. I got in at 8:24, and by the time I actually got to the front of the queue, it was 10:40. So I was well out of it. And there were people that got in at 8:22. There you go, Vanity 8. So 8:23. Vanity got in at 8:23 and got 3 tickets. George got it in at 8:22 and got a ticket, but people got it in at 8:24 and didn't get a ticket. So just insanity, absolute insanity. Jordan says he still can't sleep at night thinking about that Martinelli overhit pass to Saka. I know yeah, it's just one of those moments. But I almost hope we have other moments that come back, and it's just one of those. I don't want that to be like Martinelli's season-defining moment. But it is what it is. 8:26 and failed SS9. Yeah, it's brutal. It's absolutely brutal, and ultimately that system benefits the bots. It massively benefits the bots. The way it should be done is that it should just be done on a ballot. It should be done on a ballot because at least that way everyone comes out of it saying, "Well, at least it was fair. We all entered the ballot. This many tickets got released, and that many people got them." Vincenzo in the TikTok chat is absolutely rattled by my existence. It's all right, Vincenzo. It's all right. I'm sure your family love you. There's no need to get upset about it. Is the ticket exchange a website? Yeah, it's on the Arsenal website. So if you try and find a ticket on the Arsenal website, it'll take you through, and there's an option where you can toggle on or off finding tickets on the ticket exchange. Nelson news. So the Reece Nelson news is that basically he needs to sign a new contract. Arsenal want him to sign a new contract, but there are teams that want him. There are good teams that want him. Brighton have expressed an interest in him. So it's a tricky one for Arsenal because letting him go for free could be an absolute. I mean, I could just see Nelson going to Brighton on a free and them selling him for 40 million next season. Like it's the exact sort of thing that Brighton do. Any update on Saliba? No, not really. He wasn't in training today. The reason I don't think Saliba will play for the rest of the season is just because of how delayed it keeps getting. It keeps, he's close. He's nearly back in training. And it just never happens. He's just not back. He's not back, and back injuries are just a nightmare. I've just seen people saying on the TikTok chat, "Why don't you buy a season ticket?" That's genius, mate. I never thought of that. In fact, actually, I could have bought a season ticket. Now, this is genius. This is genius. Yeah, I was offered a season ticket. Imagine that. You just get offered a season ticket. What sort of club do you think this is? If I could have bought a season ticket, I'd have bought a season ticket. I haven't actively chosen to not have a season ticket and instead decided to buy every single home ticket this season individually, spending hours of my life on the ticket exchange, spending far more money than a season ticket would cost me, just for the fun of it, just for the absolute thrill of it. I don't know if you support a club where you can literally just go to the club and say, "I want a season ticket," and they say, "Here you go." At Man City, they go up to people on the street and they say, "If you have this season, if you take this season ticket for Man City, we'll give you a free shirt as well." That's how they do it at Man City. I think some City fans don't understand how it works if you're a big club. Do you think we should think about extending the stadium to allow more fans now that we're a top side? We've always been the thing is, yes, we should have a bigger stadium, but it was getting a big stadium. It was moving to the Emirates that set us back about 15 years in terms of where the squad was. So unless we can fund a new stadium, a bigger stadium, whilst also continuing with transfers, I don't think that's possible. That's rattled the TikTok chat. You'll have to see it. The tourists can be just as big fans as those who live in London. Yeah, of course they can. Of course they can. I can understand. Look, there's two sides of the coin when it comes to tourist fans, right? First of all, not all. There's massive Arsenal fans that are tourists and come for a game. That's fine. The tourist fans that annoy people are the ones that aren't actually that interested in football, but they come to London and they go, "Oh, what should we do whilst we're in London? Let's go to an Arsenal game," and they'll pay 10 times what the value of the ticket is because they're on their holiday. I think those are the tourist fans that people get annoyed with. Of course, you can never tell the difference, really, but we need a draw or a win at the Etihad, or else it's over, according to Rams. Yeah, I don't disagree. I think if we lose at the Etihad, it is probably close to being over. City draw against Brentford would give us a huge advantage because we can't expect a loss for them. Look, there are games left. I think City still play Brent away, Fulham away, and Brighton away. They are three tough away games that they could lose. But you never know. You never know how it's going to go. I heard Balogun doesn't want to stay at Arsenal when he comes back. It's not that he doesn't want to stay at Arsenal, it's that he wants to be a first choice striker. And at Arsenal, he's probably not going to be a first choice striker next season. That's just the brutal fact. And so if he's not willing to be a second choice striker at least next season, then you've kind of got to let him go, which is a shame, but it is what it is. Planning on watching Hereford FC again next season? Yeah, I watch Hereford as much as I can. It's just I'm not in Hereford. I'm just not in Hereford very often. But it was a good result yesterday, 2-2 against Brackley. You can't complain. It was beginning to get to the point where another couple of losses for Hereford, and we'd have been in danger of getting relegated. So it was good to get that draw. Anyway, it is time for Guess the Gooner. Guess the Gooner, the game where I give you a player, an ex-Gooner or current Gooner. I give you their career path minus the part where they were at Arsenal, so you don't know whether they're currently at Arsenal. You don't know whether they started their career at Arsenal, and you have to try and guess who the Arsenal player is in the YouTube chat, in the TikTok chat. Let's get into it. So this one is more tricky. This one is more tricky. I will rate whoever gets this right. So this player they started at Sparta Prague. They then went to Dortmund, and they ended their career at Sparta Prague. Sparta Prague, Dortmund, Sparta Prague. Who is that Arsenal player or ex-Arsenal player? Oh, wow. Ross Lawman has got it straight away, and George got it, and Joe got it. Well played. Well played. I thought that was going to be trickier, but it was indeed Thomas Rosicky. What a legend. What a legend. I absolutely loved Thomas Rosicky. And I never felt like he really had as much of an Arsenal career as I always wanted him to. But he scored some wonderful goals and was just a joyful player to watch. Fair play, well done. Well done to everyone that got that. It was Ross Lawman that was the first person to get it in the YouTube chat. Congratulations to him. Lots of people, of course, got it on TikTok as well. People saying it was easy. I didn't think it would be easy. But clearly it was. I need to make them harder. Now we have a non-Arsenal player. So a full career path of a non-Arsenal player for those of you that aren't Arsenal fans. So this player went from Hereford United to Hull City to West Ham. Who is the player? Hereford United, Hull City, West Ham. And Spencer George has got it right first in the YouTube chat. It was indeed Jarrod Bowen. What a player. That is my only claim to fame in a footballing sense, is that I used to play against Jarrod Bowen week in, week out. And once I saved a penalty against him in a penalty shootout. Under 10s penalty shootout. Pulled out a worldly save as well. Unbelievable. I was a goalkeeper. Back in the day. I was a goalkeeper. I was a goalkeeper. We moved into big goals, and then I just hadn't grown. So I had to be cast aside for someone who was nowhere near good at goalkeeping, but was a solid foot taller than me. I am 6 foot now, but I didn't grow until I was about 15. Like I went through most of secondary school being about 5'7", and then I grew right at the end. But you can't have a 5'6", 5'7" goalkeeper in big goals. Just doesn't work out. Ask Kepra Arrizabalaga all about that. So there we go. But congratulations, that was good, Jarrod Bowen. When do tickets tend to pop up on the ticket exchange? It's difficult to know. I mean, the couple of days before the game is usually the best time in terms of the most tickets going up. They can pop up at any time. If the toggle isn't there, sometimes the toggle isn't there for finding them on the ticket exchange, and that means that basically there hasn't been a ticket listed on the exchange for ages. You seemed properly annoyed in that TikTok video this morning. Yeah, of course I was. I still am. I'm absolutely fuming. Like, yeah, fuming about it. But it is what it is. How many points are we getting in our remaining fixtures? So we've got 8 games left. My prediction from before the international break was that of our remaining 10 fixtures, we would win 6 and draw 4, which included drawing against Liverpool. So I think we'll draw against Man City. We'll draw against Newcastle. I actually as well said that we draw against Brighton and that we would win the other ones. If that happens, all we need is City to drop points in one other game other than the game against us, and we would win. So, um, are you still watching the ticket exchange for Arsenal versus Chelsea? Yep. I mean, there hasn't been a ticket on there in the half an hour since it got announced that the game had been rearranged, um, but yeah, I would be watching. Are you upset the City are going to lift the trophy? I think City will lift the FA Cup. To be fair to them, I'm not upset about it. The FA Cup is theirs to lose, so fair play to them for that. And Napoli are going to win the Champions League, and Arsenal are going to win the Premier League. So Xhaka or Rice? Rice. I think Rice is an upgrade on Granit Xhaka. As much as I love Granit Xhaka, I do think Declan Rice is an upgrade on him. I'd rather have United win the FA Cup. I don't know. Even the League Cup got United fans a bit too loud. So Konate or Saliba? Saliba, but I was very impressed with Konate in the game on Sunday. What result do we need at the Etihad? Well, I think anything other than a loss at the Etihad massively swings the title in our favour. Partey and Rice would be deadly. Yeah, absolutely. Some United fans want us to win the league. So United fans that live in Manchester or that live in England and have grown up here want us to win it. United fans that are only really on social media, they want Man City to win it, purely because Man City fans just don't really exist. So they deal far more with Arsenal fans. That's why that United Trey guy wants City to win the league, which is embarrassing. But I'm buying retro kit. Thoughts? Go for it. I've got the retro jacket, which I really like. Will you still go to the Wolves game without a ticket and wait outside when the game's on? Yeah, if in the end I cannot physically get a ticket for the Wolves game, I will just go. I'll just go to the Emirates and just soak in the atmosphere. I mean, depending on what's actually happening. It might be that we've already lost the league by that point. It might be that we've already won the league by that point, and it's just a big party. What do you think about the Chelsea rearranged fixture? Look, I think the rearranged fixture is good in terms of it's good for the players' recovery, but it's just it's shocking and shambolic organisation for fans and travelling fans especially. Would you take Sanchez as backup to Ramsdale? Didn't Sanchez get dropped though? Probably not. George asks, what's your ideal summer window? Declan Rice, a right back, probably another midfielder. At the moment, I am thinking Alexis McAllister. And then probably, no, I want a right centre back as well. But I don't know who I want at right centre back because I don't really know who's available. And then a right winger, like a Moussa Diaby, someone like that. I mean, Trossard got dropped, and look at him now. Yeah, true, but I think Trossard got dropped for disciplinary reasons, right? I don't think Trossard was dropped based on his form. Ben White can play right centre back. He can, but then you're limited then, right? So, because we're in the position now where arguably if Tomiyasu hadn't got injured, we might be seeing Ben White at right centre back and Tomiyasu at right back, or Tomiyasu at right centre back and Ben White at right back. We might not be seeing Rob Holding, but you just never know what injuries you're going to get. I think Brighton will beat United based on how United have been playing recently. And I think if Fulham didn't lose their heads, they would have beaten United. Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, it is. That was an expensive transfer list that I gave, but we do have a lot of money. Do you go to the games alone? A lot of the time, yeah. If I can't, because normally I can only get one ticket. Obviously, if I get tickets when they go on sale, this happened a lot more in the first half of the season. Then I would go with my girlfriend normally, but these days I have to use the ticket exchange, which means I can only get one ticket, so just rock up on my lonesome. That wasn't funny. Imagine if we were playing Juve on Thursday and West Ham on Sunday. Yeah, this is the thing. Imagine if exactly this is. But as much it is a blessing in disguise that we don't have to play in these European games. But it's only a blessing in disguise if we win the league. Otherwise, who knows? We could have gone on to win the Europa League. But score prediction for Madrid-Chelsea, 4-0 to Madrid. And then prediction for Man City-Bayern. I think tonight Bayern will, or Man City will win 2-1. And then I think Man City will win 2 or 3-1 in the reverse leg as well. I think City will beat Bayern. Not comfortably, but I think they will beat them. For or against Declan Rice? Massively for Declan Rice. Massively for Declan Rice. I think he's fantastic. How do I rate the new kits? They're not as nice as this season's, that's for sure. They are a downgrade on this season, but sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. And we've had a lot of hits with Adidas. Let's be real. Adidas have done an unbelievable job since we've had them. I'll allow one little slip up where I don't think we've had across the three. The home kit I quite like. The green one I do quite like, but it also just reminds me of a Spurs kit. So yeah, ideal window for me would be a new backup goalkeeper, a right back, a right centre back, 2 midfielders, a right wing, and maybe another striker. That's expensive. Thoughts on Dean Smith at Leicester and are they staying up? Don't think it's a good appointment, and I think Leicester are going down. I found my Alexis Sanchez Arsenal kit. I mean, to be fair, what kit was it? Turner is solid. Yeah, I don't think we need another backup goalkeeper. I do think Turner's good enough. Unless we get a different style backup goalkeeper where we go with someone who's better with the ball at his feet. Because I do think that's Turner's big weakness. Rory go to the pub outside the Emirates to watch the game. Yeah, I mean, the pub will just be absolutely mental. I think it'll all spill out onto the street, to be fair. It wouldn't surprise me if the league goes down to the final game against Wolves. It wouldn't surprise me if somewhere near the Emirates they set up a massive big screen for the fans that can't go. Otherwise, it would just be carnage of people trying to get into the Emirates. Do you think the title's over? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We're 6 points clear. The points are on the board as well. People forget that. Points on the board are better than games in hand. Prime Ozil or Prime KDB? Prime Ozil. Prime Ozil. Holding not good enough will cost us points. Potentially. But there's not a lot we can do about it. So, ideal window is 2 midfielders and 1 right back, according to Big Fat Souflaki. Yeah, I think we probably need another attacking player as well. And probably a right centre-back. But there we go. Look, I'm going to end the YouTube stream. It's been a pleasure having you. Thank you for arriving. Please do subscribe. Please do smash a like on the video. And we'll be back 5 p.m. tomorrow. And other than that, have a fantastic evening. Goodbye.